Well, good morning. It's still morning, I guess, but it'll be the afternoon very soon. In case this doesn't disguise me appropriately, I'm Ed Lee, Mayor of San Francisco. But I'm here today in the hottest day of the so far of this year at O'Connell High School in San Francisco to just talk about and announce some of the things that we are already planning to do for the summer that focuses on our children, on our youth, on our kids, people that we want to not only keep busy, but they're the leaders in the future for our great city. And in doing that, clearly, I am very, very lucky because I get to work with wonderful, smart people in the city that are working collaboratively to provide all these programs and to make sure that the kids' enrichments for this summer are kept at a high level. And not only are they active, but they are going to be very much enriched by the programs that we are putting our backs behind and our money behind it. I'm here today with Carlos Garcia, our superintendent of schools. Carlos, thank you very much for being here. The relationship with the school continues as Hydra, the president of the school board, works with me as the education advisor and constantly on a weekly, if not even every other day basis, letting me know about the programs and things we're doing with our school districts, what more we could do. It's a topic that I've always wanted to keep in front of me since my days as somebody that worked in the Upward Bound programs, watching out for the future of our kids, watching out for their present safety, as well as their continuing enrichment in all the programs that we have. Working along with Carlos, we have Maria Sue. Maria Sue is, of course, our lead on the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. They have in charge of a lot of the programs that we have centralized and try to match all of the needs out there and making sure that we have the best programs possible. And she has a lot of announcements to make today. Also, in addition, our Rec and Park department. We're on good turf here, but you'll see more of this turf elsewhere, and we're not standing on soggy ground. You know, it's rained a lot throughout the whole city. But now that we are doing things smarter, and Recreation and Park Department is there with us, Phil Ginsberg is here to make announcements about the summer programs we have and how reflective they are in his attempt and in the attempt of the Rec and Park Commission to do more in the summer camps program, more for youth again, to make this city, again, reach the heights that it always has been, to embrace all of our youth and make all of the programs as open as possible. We're also here. Paul Henderson is continuing to advise me along with members of our juvenile probation department and other public safety agencies of the city that a safe city means not only a city that is safe on the streets, but also safe in the sense that we have social services and social network of programs that offer our youth tremendous opportunity to go all over the city and enjoy all of the activities that we have to offer. And so they're here today to embrace these programs and work with us as closely as all the agencies would. And then along with that, we have community-based agencies. And I want to just acknowledge Coleman Advocates. They're here today. Marissa, right, that we worked with, and the leaders of Coleman Advocates, because one of the programs we're announcing today is something that I personally got involved in because, as you know, I've tried to make myself available to all of the different groups in the city. And as we started talking some months ago about our budget challenges, I invited a lot of community-based agencies in to talk with me. And I've had meetings with just scores of community agencies that have talked about the needs of the city, the needs for youth, the need to pay attention to it. And naturally, we've had a relationship in this city with Coleman Advocates for some time. So they were, of course, part of the groups that Marissa and Hydra brought in to see me. And about a month ago, that we talked very seriously about a generation of kids who are confronted with these new challenges that Carlos knows so well. And these are the new standards that the state has imposed upon our city, all of the cities across the whole state. And that is, you won't be able to graduate unless you pass these very basic courses and take tests in them to pass it. And we were confronted with ninth graders, about 900 of them, that had already been documented of having failed grades in science and math that were not going to then proceed with a very good beginning in high school. In fact, they wouldn't graduate at all if they didn't have passing grades in these courses. And the only way that you can get those grades passed if you failed in the normal course of business, and we have, of course, recognized many reasons for students not being able to succeed in the normal course of things, is that the only way you do it is you do it with a makeup course, something that we call summer classes. And the summer makeup classes were not going to be part of the economic agenda this summer. In fact, they've been wiped out with so many other challenges to our school district before that summer classes were not just going to exist. And as we took the personal testimony of Marissa and others in Coleman Advocates to heart during one of the critical meetings a month ago, Paul Henderson, Hydra, Carlos, Chancellor Griffith from City College, all of us worked together, and we huddled about where we could work with Maria Sue and find the monies that would be the underpinnings for perhaps saving 900 kids and offering them classes to remediate those grades. And we did come up with some $250,000. We scraped under every rock. It was a personal challenge for me because it was something that I felt, given not only the testimony that was given to us, but I do think the very sincerity that people wanted to save these kids, wanted to give them the opportunity, that resonated with me. I can foresee 900 kids not having this opportunity and being the next generation of kids without hope, without the opportunity to get into the jobs that we're creating with Twitter and some of the other exciting companies we're bringing into the city, sustaining those jobs. If you're not good in math, if you're not good in science, if you don't have that basics and you don't graduate with that degree, you're not going to get the jobs that we're working so hard to unleash upon the city for everybody's opportunity. And so with that vision in mind, it was natural for all of us to work together, to scrape up that money, and then to make a commitment that this summer, those 900 kids will not be lost. We will have those summer classes. We will have them in cooperation with our school district, with our community college, with Coleman Advocates, with all the agencies behind us working together to say that we will not allow this opportunity to abandon ourselves. So that's the first announcement today. We found the money. We will have these summer classes, and we will allow these 900 kids to get that opportunity to redo those grades with the hope they will have passing grades, and then they will proceed to the O'Connell high schools of our city and then get the grades that they need and continue forward on. That was our commitment. But I want to reemphasize, it begins with having an open door. It begins with the very able agencies that we have telling us these stories, and then it begins with our collaborating within the city to make this happen. So I want to thank all of the departments here, the school district and leadership from everyone here to advise me on how to make the right decision for this city, and then to give faith to these kids and the kids of our future and the people that I want to get good jobs in the city and to live here and to survive and to be successful. Because ultimately, I want a safe city, I want a solvent city, but I also want a successful city. And these kids are going to be the generation that take over the success of a great city like San Francisco. There's other programs to be announced today that will be part of our whole summer. Recreation and Park has stepped up to another challenge, and that is as the shootings occurred earlier this year, and as we were ticking up towards some of the higher homicide numbers that have now come down a bit, I took it personally to walk the Mission and to walk Bayview with the supervisors, whether it was Supervisor Amelia Cohen, Supervisor Campos, David Campos, or Supervisor Jane Kim, to walk those areas where we thought kids might be recruited to do bad things, that we listened to them and listened to our community response network people out on the streets and listened carefully to what their recommendations were. And one of the ideas that came out of those merchant walks and those corridor walks was that we ought to have a place for kids to really come and get away from some of the pressures from their urban, hard street neighborhoods and out to a place like Camp Mather, a place where kids enjoy the wonder of just playing, being themselves, interacting with the other kids that maybe they look across the street and don't see the full value of friendship and the full value of living in the same communities. And so to have an opportunity to do that at Camp Mather, we again looked to scrape up as much as we could, working with Rec and Park. And the wonders of Phil's leadership is that he'll find something if we give him a chance, give him a little time. He'll find that resource to increase the number of camp slots, but also to make a special camp visit. And with the help of Paul Henderson, my advisor, and again, Hydra and Maria Sue working together with Rec and Park, we're going to create a special program aimed at at-risk youth and what they call in-risk. Kids that are already have been visiting our juvenile probation program, but don't have to be there if they can turn their lives around at an early stage. And we're focused on 60 special slots in the month of August, the details upon which we'll go into more later on as we evolve it, aimed at getting these youths out of the city for about 4 days and into a program of leadership, of eco-friendly exposure to our camps, to the outdoors, and to emphasize that rather than lead activities that are going to be negative to our communities, is perhaps to suggest there is leadership opportunities for positive things in our environment, for outdoor leadership, for interacting with other kids that they see perhaps not in a positive way. That placement will occur in August with the help of all of the agencies that I talked about, providing perhaps a brief moment that they can participate. And before that happens, Phil is going to identify additional slots throughout the whole summer in all of the different camp programs that he has worked hard to increase those slots for Camp Mather and other camp programs throughout the whole city. And he'll go into detail about that. But I want to again thank Phil's leadership again and the whole commission, the Rec and Park Commission, for working closely with our office and all the other agencies to provide more opportunities. They're yet again increasing the number of camp slots more than they did last year, which was about 10,000, over 10,000 slots. We are on our course to exceed that already, with over 8,800 slots already identified and more to come in the next month or so. So again, we're making strides in that effort. And then working with Maria Sue again and all of the agencies around these programs, these summer programs, and increasing the amount of funding that we have to keep kids active in an enriched way. Even our representative of our library here today to talk about some of the free programs that they're going to offer aimed at kids to connect them up with the libraries, passes to our museums and all the other special passes that will be available to our youth. I think this summer is going to mark another enriched summer of programs that we have, activities that we have, and it's reflective of the whole State family coming together, not thinking this is someone else's problem. This is our challenge, and we're responding to the challenge not by any drudgery type of attitude with it, but by a really embracing of things that work, things that will work well together with us, and there'll be positive enrichments for all the kids this summer. So I'm looking forward to a fantastic summer. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still working on the budget, still working on pension reform. But while I do that, I'm going to keep a youthful look at everything we're doing and embrace our kids for their future. I love these kids as much as any of my kids that I've raised in this summer, and I look forward to working with all of you to have a great summer and make sure this summer is lack of violence and more about eliminating that violence and more about embracing each other and all the wonderful diversity we have in the city. So with that, Hydra, you're going to go through a whole speaking engagement, get more details about these programs. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much. It's been such a delight to have somebody come on board who's equally as passionate about our children and as making sure that the partnerships continue. We couldn't have partnerships, though, if we didn't have leadership at the top. And so I want to introduce our superintendent of schools, Carlos Garcia. And I also want to acknowledge our school board member, Sandy Fewer, who's been really instrumental in helping us to identify the needs of our students as well. Carlos?
Thank you, and good morning. This is really exciting. I guess I should bring this up a little bit. There we go. This is a very exciting day. You know, sometimes people come up to me and think that summer school seems like an oxymoron because you already had school, right? So why are you doing all over again? The reality is that in this day and age, if we're going to compete in a flat world, the only way we're going to be competitive is to make sure that all our students are going to be successful. And I have to tell you, I mean, the mayor, my hat really goes off, and he has a hat, so I don't, but my hat goes off to the mayor for standing up and saying, you know, we're really going to take this, we're going to do something about it. Because think about it. The other day, last weekend, last Thursday and Friday, I'm the president of the California City Superintendents. I had all the different superintendents from all of California down in San Diego for a meeting, and nobody could believe that a city like San Francisco or any city would step up to help fund summer school, because that just doesn't happen anywhere. We asked around the room, was there any other city helping? And there wasn't a single city. So this is a special city because we have great leadership. We have a community that actually views the children of its city as their children, like the mayor said, and it makes such a big difference to have DCYF, you know, step up and be there for the community, for the children, is fabulous. And Maria Sue has done a great job, and to have Coleman advocates, it's great to have a relationship with them. My hat's always off to them because they push us. They push the school district, they push the city to do some great things for our children. A couple years ago, we had a conversation with them to talk about having the A through G requirement for all students. So, in other words, when you graduate from high school, you ought to be able to make the decision, do I want to go to college, do I want a career? But if you don't have the coursework, you can never get there. So now we started with 9th graders. Everybody takes the A through G required classes. And as a result, yeah, do we have a lot of kids who didn't make it? We have about 900 kids who flunked the class or got a low grade in a class. And so this summer, we were trying to figure out, we had some monies. Just think about it. In California, 70% of all the money for summer school has been wiped out by the state. We no longer get that funding. So how are we going to do that? We decided to prioritize and give summer school to our seniors, because if they can't pass the Casey exam, then they won't graduate. So every year we make that the priority for them to be able to take, and later on at the end of summer school, we have another graduation for them where they get a diploma so that they can move on. We made that our priority, but that was about all the resources we had until Coleman advocates, the mayor, and everybody got together, City College, all of us sat down and said, you know, this isn't somebody else's problem. This is our community. And the mayor was the first to say, we're going to have to figure out how to come up with the money. The $250,000 that they've come up with is something that's going to make a reality for 900 kids who didn't do well in those A through G requirements, to let them know that we care enough about them that we're going to make them a priority. And that could not have happened without the city's support. So those students now will go through, they won't be behind in credits, because that's what ends up happening, and then kids never get caught up. This gives them an opportunity so that they'll move into 10th grade credit with all the credits they need so that they can keep moving forward. We could never have done that in the past, and we certainly agree that without the help of everybody, we wouldn't be here. City College has stepped up. They're offering summer courses for some of our high school students. We all work as a team now. There's no sides. You know, it's great working with your departments. All the departments, we talk to each other. It really is one city. And I've worked in 7 school districts. And I have to tell you, this is the first place in my life where all the different departments, the city, the colleges, everybody comes together, the school district, and we all think together about what can be best for our children. And that is what makes, you know, talk about having a great San Francisco promise. I mean, what a great promise to our children and our young people that this is a place where we walk the talk and we make them the #1 priority. I want to thank everybody who's here, because it's not just the school district, it's really a team effort. Mayor, I can't thank you enough, and go Giants. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Carlos. So part of the work that we've been doing in the mayor's office has been focused around our public safety issues. And so without our community response network, who many of our folks who work in our community are here with us this afternoon, because it was them who pushed us as well. And with Vince Tong from the Juvenile Probation Department, and Bill Sifferman and Alan Nance, who were very instrumental in helping us develop some of the programming. Paul Henderson, who's our Deputy Chief of Staff. So that actually acknowledges how important public safety is in our office. He's come through and he's been talking with all of us about what we need to do for our youth to get them out of the city, actually, and have a wonderful experience. So I'd like to bring up Paul Henderson.
Yay. Come on, you can clap louder than that. All right, here we go. Okay. So I can get warmed up here. So, yeah, it's pretty warm already. So yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the public safety issues, and we all know already that it's a process. There's not just one event, there's not just one action, but today's announcement that we have here is symbolic of what that process is. This is exactly how public safety works in the city. And I know everyone is concerned about what's going to happen in the summer and what are we going to do with our youth and how are we going to keep the crime rates low and how can we advance San Francisco so that our youth are engaged in positive activities over the summer, that they're not being tempted and drifting into making bad decisions. And today is exactly how the city is going to deliver on that. So I think it's really important, the fact that we're doing not just an educational commitment that the mayor has said and talked about all the people that have stepped up to make sure that we have summer school and to make sure that we have our youth engaged in educational programs, but also that we are addressing both cultural and social activities as well. And I think the symbol of that is what we're doing with Camp Mather and how we're bringing together all of the organizations that you see behind me and some that you don't see behind me. It's a partnership in ways that creates new opportunities. This is something that has not been done in the past, and we're talking about creating a cultural and social experience for at-risk youth and in-risk youth in ways that they haven't had before. I just want to acknowledge that Park and Rec and Phil Ginsburg specifically has stepped up, and because of his leadership and working with a lot of these other organizations, that we're going to have a great program that includes overnight experiences, both educational and vocational opportunities for youth that up until now and up until this summer and up until this administration have not had those opportunities in the past. That's what's being created. It stands out in particular this year because we all know what our budget issues are, and the way that this is working is because of the unique partnership of the people that you see standing behind me with the education department, with our CRNs, who are also going to be a part of throughout the summer with the summer school and with the Camp Mather experience, the safe passage programs to make sure that kids can get to and from the places where they need to go to participate in these experiences. And that's a big deal. Also, not here, but as part of the partnership and is at the table, is the police department and a number of other community-based organizations that have all been at the table to make sure that this program will work and that kids are safe and that San Francisco is going to be safe through the summer. So thank you all for so much for coming out and educating yourselves, and hopefully we'll leave here and all leave as agents of change and talk about the exciting things that the city is doing and share with our various communities so that we have as much participation as possible, but more than the participation, we'll have awareness, because people should know not just what the city is doing, but why we're doing it, why it's important, and how it directly matters to the citizens of San Francisco. So thank you so much for your time. Thanks.
Thank you, Paul. So it's not just about public safety, but it's a lot about loss of learning during the summer, and no one knows it better than a person who manages our out-of-school time and has been a tremendous advocate for our students, for our kids. Our director of the Department of Children, Youth, and Their Families, Maria Sue.
So good afternoon, everyone. Once again, I'm Maria Sue, Director of the Department of Children, Youth, and Their Families. First and foremost, I just want to thank the mayor and his leadership and appreciate and acknowledge Carlos Garcia and his leadership over at the school district. We definitely view DCYF as kind of that glue that connects the school district services and the city services together. And then, of course, with all of our commissioners who are here today to help advocate for services for children, youth, and families. I just want to mention a few things that our department is doing for the summer, and because we are doing a lot. So for those of you who want to learn more, please go to 311-211 or our parent-specific website called sfkids.org. That's where parents and community members can learn about all the wonderful things that we're doing in the summer. So first of all, our main goals for summer within our department is, one, to provide quality care for our children that are also, of course, fun. 2, create programs and services that meet the needs of working families. And I want to emphasize working families because I received a direct direction from the mayor that required us to make sure that all of our programmings help support all of those working families in San Francisco, because we know how important that is to keep our families here and to keep to have quality services for them. And then 3, focus our services and efforts on the highest need children, youth, and families. Because, of course, within our community, we also have a lot of families who are struggling right now. And we need to make sure that our services prioritize those families. And then finally, we want to make sure that we provide healthy meals for all of our children that are experiencing any of these programs. So we will continue, of course, funding and services for all of our child care programs throughout the city, as well as all of our family support programs. But of note, we want to make sure that everyone knows that DCYF is funding a variety of summer services and summer options for kindergartners all the way up to 8th grade. We want to emphasize that we were able to find, under the mayor's leadership, $3 million to invest in full-day summer programs. There are 63 full-day summer programs throughout the city right now where families can enroll in so that they can have that quality experience. We project to serve approximately 7,000 children this year with just that one strategy. This is one out of many different strategies. We're working very closely with the school district so that we can provide some of those opportunities on their school facilities during the summer, so that those kids who are going to summer school will also have the opportunity to receive those enrichment programs and other fun quality programs that we provide. In terms of services for teens, which are high schools and older young people, we have 53 programs throughout the city that will provide enrichment, leadership services, and of course, the one thing that we've heard over and over again in all of our community meetings, youth employment opportunities. We will have that this summer. We are going to continue 3 of our largest youth employment programs in the city. One is called the Mayor's Youth Employment and Education Program, called MyEap. We have allocated approximately 450 slots for youth this summer. YouthWorks, which is a partnership between our nonprofit agency as well as city departments, and we've allocated 150 slots this summer. And then finally, Work Creation, which is a partnership with our wonderful department, our Rec and Park department, in which we will allocate 120 slots through partnerships, of course, to have young people in our park facilities this summer. And then Paul Henderson has already touched on this in terms of violence prevention. We will continue all 63 programs that we currently fund in serving violence prevention services, because these are all year-round time, full year programs for our community. But very important, we want to make sure that everyone knows that all of our violence prevention programs are working in full partnership with our public safety entities throughout the city, so that we can coordinate our services and make sure that our services are targeted where we need them to be. And then finally, we want to make sure that all of our young people have access to high quality food. We have been able to work with a wonderful food vendor. They're a local food vendor called Kid Chow, and they will be providing organic, locally grown, sustainable foods this summer for all of our children in all of our programs. We are projecting to have 80 sites throughout the summer, and some of which are on park and rec facilities. Some of them are over at the public housing facilities, and some of them will be at our community-based organizations. And we will have summer food opportunities for children starting June all the way into August. And we project to serve approximately 5,000 meals per day, every day during that time. This is much more than what we did last year, and I definitely believe that we will actually have better quality food because they're organic and locally grown food. So once again, for those of you who want to learn more about any of these programs, please go to 311-211 or sfgov.org, sfkids.org. Thank you.
Thank you. So who benefits from all of this? You see many of our students here, our student leaders from John O'Connell. Thank you all for coming out. These are all the This is all the information you need to make sure that you're doing something during the summer. But what also is about our partners, and Coleman Advocates has been a great partner for us. Their membership are families throughout the city who where these services matter most. And so I want to invite one of our parent leaders and a parent liaison actually at one of our elementary schools, Marissa DiCicco.
Hi, my name is Maritza DiCicco, and I'm a parent leader and also a parent liaison at Hillcrest Elementary School. And I wanted to let you know that Coleman members believe that education, that we all deserve, that we all should have the opportunity to get a good education, regardless of what neighborhood they live in. This is a fundamental value of a campaign for college and career for all. This year, I'm thrilled as a mother of an 8th grader that the San Francisco Unified School District freshman class will be the first graduating class to meet the San Francisco Unified School District new graduation requirement that ensures access to California State University and University of California approved courses, otherwise known as A through G. These systematic changes is but one of the many ways that San Francisco Unified School District is keeping its promise to keep access and equity to all the students in the city. The commitment of city leaders like the Mayor Lee, Board of Education, Board of Supervisors to increase summer programming and access to summer school is the strongest sign of keeping our promise to the next generation of San Franciscans. Providing the summer program for those 9th graders, those about 900 students who otherwise would be off track of the A through G and they couldn't continue going through university is just amazing. I am so excited about it. This year makes the 20th anniversary of the Children's Fund, and I'm thrilled about having leaders that have thought of putting Children's Fund in impacting 100,000 lives throughout the programs, after-school program, and childcare. We like this at the same time to thank Commissioner Sandra Feuer and the Mayor's Education Advisor, Hydra Mendoza, and the DCYF Mary Sue for working hard with Coleman members to understand the needs that we have and how to best possible bridge and have the students gain the be able to get these opportunities that will accomplish access and equity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marissa. And finally, whether it's renting out these fields for kids to play on or learning how to cook, Phil Ginsburg, our chief of Rec and Park, has been hitting it out of the park for a while now for us. So Phil Ginsburg, tell us what you're doing for us this summer.
Thank you, Hydra. It's hot, so I'll try to be brief. It's almost too hot to wear the vest, which I never take off. Summer, both as a kid and as the GM, as a parent and as the GM of the Recreation and Park Department, summer is the most joyous and exciting and actually important time. And I want to really thank Mayor Lee and Superintendent Garcia and all of my colleagues and partners back here for a vision, which is simple. The best way to keep our children and our families safe during the summer is to give them healthy things to do. And I think that that's what we're all about here. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of an overview of some of the things that we're doing. This year, we are very proud, even in these difficult economic times, to be able to offer over 30,000 camp slots for our kids. 30,000. That is an increase, Mr. Mayor, of 10,000 from last year, which also was a record-setting year for us. And our programs, our camp programs, are truly fantastic. They range from traditional camps like Silver Tree and Pine Lake to sports camps to art camps. But we're also recognizing that kids today like to do some things differently than what we did when we were kids. And so we've got skateboarding, we've got surfing, we've got BMX biking. We're teaching kids how to barbecue, which is actually sort of an old school one. So we've got activities for young and old. We're teaching kids how to play roller soccer, all different types of sports. And it's one of our most important principles is that every child has an opportunity to participate in our programs regardless of ability to pay. So we have an incredibly robust scholarship program, which this year totals over $250,000. And already, this early in our registration cycle, we've already given 500 of our kids scholarships to attend our camps. In addition, I really want to thank our partners because we can't do it alone. So we've got a great partnership with DCYF, which is helping support some of our camps and helping support our efforts at Camp Mather. And also they're providing healthy meals for our kids during the day. I want to thank the Housing Authority. I don't know if they're here today, but the Housing Authority in Rec and Park have had a great partnership with a couple for 2 years now, where all of our children who live in public housing get to participate in our summer programs, and perhaps most importantly, our Learn to Swim programs for free all summer long. And I really want to thank the Housing Authority for their partnership. I want to focus on just 2 special camps. One is a new camp that we're doing this summer called Camp Azure. Camp Azure is for children on the autism spectrum who need a little bit extra assistance and supervision. They're going to be participating with at a camp right alongside Silver Tree, which is one of our most fabulous camps. All of the money generated for Camp Azure, we've fundraised for. So we've fundraised over $75,000 or $80,000 to be able to host a camp all summer long, a very special camp experience for children on the autism spectrum. And then lastly, just to follow up on the opportunities at Camp Mather, and I really do want to thank the mayor again for his vision on this. We are, for the first time, Camp Mather's always been the most special family camp, family experience, and it's been a place that seniors go. But it's never been a place for teens. It's never been a place for in-risk or at-risk youth. And for the first time this summer, we are going to be bringing 60 kids up to explore the wonderment and beauty of nature. You know, right at the foot of our Hetch Hetchy Reservoir in the Sierra Mountains. Camp Mather, I go every year, is one of the most spectacular assets that we have in the city. And our kids will be able to learn we'll learn about hiking, and we'll participate in team building exercises, obstacle courses. They'll be able to swim. They'll be able to learn to swim. They're going to help us build trails. They're going to participate in a talent show. I don't know if they know that yet. But it's going to be a fabulous 4-night, 5-day experience for them, and we're really excited about it. We've also got a host of programs this summer for people who don't want to participate in camp. In addition to our summer camp program, summer registration starts May 31st, and this is for children of all ages. Connie over here has our program guides for both our summer programs and our camp cycle. And as we like to say at Rec and Park, get out and play. Thank you very much.
So we've got a lot that's going on this summer. I do want to acknowledge Henry Alvarez from our Housing Authority, who has been really great in making sure that our kids have great things to do and brought midnight basketball back into our community. And also want to acknowledge Luis Herrera, who is our city librarian, who will have summer reading throughout the summer and is also ensuring that there's extended programming for our kids outside of the classroom. So that's it. Thank you all so much for joining us, for partnering with us and making sure that our students are safe and continuing with their learning throughout the summer. Thank you.